Alrighty, guys. One more bad ending for Magnus. So, all we had to do was reload that save I did in the sweet ending. So all the choices I made in the sweet ending happened. I don't think those are actually necessary for getting this ending. I think it's just this choice, which is wait for him a little while before doing anything. So I assume either Magnus destroys the world, or we get caught here, or something. So we'll see if either of those ends up being right. It might be best to wait for now. Not too long. But rather than risk an unknown, I could give him time to come back from wherever he'd gone. For all I knew, even using my Psi could alert someone to my presence if they were already looking for us out here. I glared at the ceiling. What did the ceiling do to you? Why couldn't he tell me where he was going or what was happening? Why did he always leave me out of the loop and do things on his own? I hated feeling like he had ulterior motives for bringing me out here. I hated the way it made me doubt him. Grabbing one of the sofa pillows, I rolled onto my side and glared at the door, daring him to come in. But, of course, he did not. Though if using the system was dangerous, I wasn't sure how he could have left me a message. Maybe written a note from dead plant leaves or something. My sulking was interrupted by my stomach letting out an embarrassingly loud growl of protest for my not having eaten since yesterday sometime. Ugh. I rolled off the sofa with a groan. Much as I did not want to rifle through someone's kitchen, I really did need food before my stomach decided to eat itself as punishment for neglecting it. I feel that. Magnus had an hour. 1 hour. And if I didn't hear from him or he didn't come back for me, I would message him and search the area myself. And if anyone paying attention caught on to my location... If anyone caught on, I wasn't sure what would happen. I would have to hope for the best. That said, I still reached out with a tentative sphere to keep an eye on my immediate surroundings. I wouldn't reach out very far, though. Hopefully it wouldn't be enough for anyone who was looking, like Ari, to notice. And for the time being, I went to the kitchen to seek out food. I'd have to apologize to the owner later on, if he's still around. Fortunately, there was plenty to choose from. So many fresh vegetables. They were most likely grown in his own greenhouse, too. Fresh oranges? How did he even have those out here? At least they weren't tangerines. Sorry. I muttered the word to no one as I swiped an orange because, as guilty as I felt taking food without asking, I was definitely eating that. Nom. Though I tried to distract myself with breakfast and cleaning up, I found myself watching the door for Magnus. Which was stupid because I'd know if he was anywhere nearby long before he reached the door. The hour crawled past. By the end, I was sitting on the sofa with my knees pulled up, glaring at the door and imagining how I was going to let him have it when he returned. And that alternated between being terrified something had happened and I was sitting here waiting while he died somewhere alone. What if he never came back? What if no one ever came back? Which was a stupid worry, because I could get back to civilization alone if I teleported. Maybe. We had driven pretty far out into the wastes. I didn't even know how far because I'd slept. I had just about worked myself into a new panic when I sensed a familiar presence enter the edge of my sphere. Magnus! For a moment there was nothing but relief. Then the anger swept back in. Damn him! Flinging the pillow on the sofa, I stalked to the front door. But what if it's not fully Magnus anymore? This was not going to happen again. I realized immediately Magnus was not alone when I got outside. There was another person slumped in the car, chin tucked to their chest, eyes closed. That caused me to hesitate. And the look on his face as he got out of the car. He glanced my way, and for one staggering moment, there was a look of such pain and weariness that my anger evaporated. For a moment I stood where I was, unsure how to approach him. When I did, it was with more hesitance than I'd been feeling before.
I know you have questions, but the others will be here soon. We're going back to Core Solaris.
Wait, what? And who is...
It's... my friend, Deimos. Though he goes by Lance now.
Is he hurt?
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
What happened to him?
I hurt him.
He swallowed hard and wouldn't meet my eyes. What?
Leave him there for now. He's unconscious but doesn't have any injuries. We'll be taking him back with us.
Did he try his plan and it didn't work, and now Lance is just, like, in a coma? And so now he's just defeated and, like, I break everything I touch. There is no getting out of this. I'm just going to resign myself back to my tower. He swept past me, but I caught his arm, dread growing in the pit of my stomach. Magnus, what did you do? His expression was strangely dead. It wasn't the usual mask. It was just nothing at all. What happened?
He
never finished.
The others are here. Ari is so reliable.
He walked past me, pulling his arm from my grasp. Somehow it felt like he was walking beyond my reach for good, and I didn't know why. When I turned, I already knew the others would be there. Everyone was on edge, and I still had no idea what was happening.
Did you actually go insane, you bastard? What the hell was that ultimatum?
Ultimatum?
You're asking that after knowing me these last 10 years? Haven't I been insane since they destroyed me back then?
What's going on?
You don't know?
She doesn't know anything. I'll be releasing her back to her family soon anyway, so don't bother questioning her. If you all understand the situation Endgame is in, stop asking foolish questions and get us back to the tower. Caleb, there's a man in the car that we're bringing along.
Caleb's jaw worked furiously, but Magnus ignored him and went straight to Ari.
Take me back first. You can return for the others. It's a bit much for one trip anyway.
Without a word. Ari visibly hesitated, then nodded, and they were gone. The chilly wind moaned through the buildings as Caleb went to pull the unconscious man from the car.
Did you really not know anything, Morgan?
No! He left while I was asleep and got back right before you arrived. What's going on?
That asshole took over the mainframe, which means he either somehow bypassed or shut down the AI in the process.
What?
The council located the two of you early this morning. They mobilized the Furies to come here. They tried to mobilize us, but we weren't cooperative. Ari, the only person who could get us here right away, had a mysterious headache and severe exhaustion. For all the good it did us. Then out of nowhere, Magnus contacted the council and said the mainframe was in his control and the AI was permanently offline. If they harm him, the mainframe is set to shut down. All of it.
That would send everything into chaos!
Exactly. They can't touch him because everything is in his control now.
How can one person control the entire... everything? Without the AI...
We don't know.
But why?
Because it was the only thing he could do to save you. The council has to do what he says now. He just took over. Just like that.
But that's...
We need to go. I believe things will be quite chaotic for now. Magnus has indicated he plans to have the council incarcerated. It will be announced soon. They are following along for now. I believe we should be there.
I didn't even know what else to say. It was like he was holding the world hostage to make the council do what he wanted. Was this why we had come here? Or had he made the decision when he heard the council found us? And this Lance person, what role did he play in it all? What had Magnus done to him? I had no answers as Ari teleported us back to the tower. I only hoped I would get them soon. She's back, baby! Weird.
I'll see you this evening. Your father is looking forward to dinner together. He wants to hear about your new classes.
I'll see you both then. The call disconnected. And for a moment I looked up, tipping my head back with a sigh. It had already been a month, and I still wasn't used to this again. To being back. Everything that had happened at Endgame felt like a dream. One that was rapidly fading. I'd almost not believe any of it at all if I didn't still have limited contact with Vaughn. Only Vaughn. It didn't surprise me that Caleb and Ari didn't keep in contact. Guys! But Magnus... It hurt how suddenly he'd cut me out of his life. Vaughn wouldn't even tell me much about what was going on there now that I'd been released from active duty and allowed to return home. That fact alone told me that what Magnus did, he believed was for my good, though I knew it wasn't the only reason. He probably thought it was for everyone's good. Lethe, the others who he saw as bound to Endgame. Everyone but himself. Because he carried the burden of controlling everything now. Did he think this would make me happy? Being forced to join, being forced to leave. What did it matter when either way I was being forced? The Endgame Council, as Ari said, had been dissolved and arrested. Information about the cloning program had gone public, some of it. It was the justification for their dissolution and arrests. The only time I saw Magnus after I left was in a single interview where he spoke about the reforms going on within Endgame. I knew there was much more to that story. What hadn't been made public was that he was in control of the mainframe, or how he had managed that. But Vaughn intimated that might not stay secret long because his plan was to slowly release control, decentralize everything, and in doing so, relieve Endgame of the pressure to protect it, because it and King no longer would exist. King. A being Magnus had once called his friend. Vaughn and the others could only guess at the connection between King and the man Magnus had brought from the wastes, but she wouldn't share any of that with me. She said the one time she asked him what he had really done out there in the waste, all he'd said was that he devoured God for the sake of everyone else. A reference to destroying the AI? Or maybe it wasn't as simple as just destroying it. It was clear he was never going to tell anyone. Now Endgame was rolling out new Esper policies in conjunction with the unified triad government. Policies that would allow me to remain a normal citizen. I just didn't understand why he had to take the responsibility for this all on himself. Like always. Never relying on anyone else. Alone in that tower, playing villain to try to fix whatever was broken. Maybe even breaking more things in the process. I squeezed my hands together, as always, doubtful what I should do. Unable to move forward, unable to go back. Why did it have to end this way? That day. Would it have made a difference if I somehow found him and stopped him before he did whatever he did? Yep. I realized why Lethe had been so caught up in the future and possibilities. It was too hard to live with regret and exhausting to constantly wonder what would have happened if. And heartbreaking to know you'd never get the chance to make a different choice. I swept my hand down my face, trying to wipe away the tears threatening to fall. I pushed my chair back and left the corner cafe. But I stopped once, glancing back at nothing and wondering if... No, it was pointless. I turned again and walked, making a mental note I wouldn't go back to that cafe again. That is the saddest picture! Stop. I've got Doctor Who feels, man. It was time to do my best to move on. Oh, divided. No one was happy, Magnus. I hope you're proud of yourself. I know you're not, because you're just broken too. Oh. I got Rose Doctor vibes all over again seeing that picture. Man. You get a cookie if you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't get what I'm talking about, you get a cookie anyway, because I think everyone deserves a cookie after going through all these sad endings. I mean, yay, the state of the world is pretty good. It's basically what was happening in Magnus's best ending, except he's got to do it alone, and he's got no support system because he's just like cut everybody out of his life and decided to do what he thought was best, and just ended up hurting a lot of people for it. Oy. All right. Well, we did it, guys. We made it through. Thank you very much for joining me. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed everything I saw about this boy. He's probably my #1 right now. Him and Ari are fighting it out. These Endgame boys. They're gonna be trouble, man. Nothing but trouble. But for now, we're gonna take a break once again. Going back to Bandcamp Boyfriend, and I'm very happy that Samuel is next, because I feel like I need some chill. I need a chill dude in my life after this. The Root probably won't be chill, but Samuel will probably be chill, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not, I'll see you when I come back to Gilded Shadows. Either way though, guys, thank you very much for joining me, and until next time, I will see you later.